Okay. Here with Jelly to talk about Monster Hunter today.
To start this recording was asking, are we live?
Are we live?
I myself started with Monster Hunter in Monster Hunter Try back in. I actually played the demo on the Wii, and fun fact about that is I absolutely hated it.
Mm-hmm.
Was not a fan. I played it for like a good 3 hours when I was like, must have been 12 years old, I want to say. 11? Forget when let me actually look this up. When did the demo come out for Monster Hunter Try? Because it was a free demo that you got from GameStop. You would ask for it, and they would hand you a free disc of the demo. Let's see. I'm actually curious about this.
That's interesting.
Demos.
I don't quite remember, I don't remember, GameStop doing stuff like that, but then again, I really didn't get into, games in general, until I was a bit, older, when I was, like, a teenager.
It was March 8th, 2010. I think it was around that time when I got it. My brother got it for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 11 years ago, yeah. So almost, she's almost 12 now. Yeah, so I would have been like 12, 11 at the time.
You know, um, I myself, really, I didn't get into Monster Hunter until World, and I actually started playing it because of a friend of mine who happened to also play since Try, um,
Hmm.
and I remember they're just like, oh yeah, I play this Monster Hunter game, and I was just like, I'll play it a bit. I don't know how much I'll actually play it, but then in the first week I got 40 hours.
That's completely understandable. I think it's funny.
Uh huh.
You can find out when someone started playing Monster Hunter based on the answer to the question of whether or not they like the underwater combat.
I
Because I feel like most of the time, if they liked underwater combat, they started with Try. If they didn't, if they hated it, then they started before Try. And if they say that they never did it, then they more than likely started with World.
Yeah, no. I remember this friend. Like they're just like, yeah, I like the underwater combat. So yeah, they were. You know, I guess that's a pretty solid test right there.
Right.
Um, I am quite excited for Rise. But I guess before that, I guess I would just like to ask, having played through the series, what is your favorite monster? You'd say.
My favorite. So, are we going by large monster or small monster?
Let's go by large monster because we know, we know what the small monster
We
is.
know who the small monster is. Okay. So, my favorite large monster would be the Kuru Peko.
Mm-hmm.
My good old Peko boy, the Kuru. He is. He was back when I played the demo. There's two options of monsters you can hunt in the demo. There was the Great Jaggy, and then there was the Kuru Peko. I actually could not beat the Great Jaggy with how fast he was,
Mm.
because at the time I was using Great Sword and I didn't know what I was doing as a 11-year-old kid.
Oh yeah.
And my first ever hunt, I remember actually ever beating in the demo. My first ever completed monster hunt was versus a Kurupeko, and I was using the longsword. Looking back on that now, I would consider that cringe.
uh, yeah. Um, I actually started with short sword and shield, and honestly, it's all the weapons are pretty fun to use. Uh,
Hmm.
but I ended up kind of not really doing anything other than sword and shield or the dual blade. But then I did an arena and I was forced to try new weapons, and I was just like, okay, I guess I'll try out the longsword. And then it was just like, oh wow, this goes off a little bit. Felt a little anime, if you will.
Hmm.
Um,
Especially with the changes that they made to it in World and Rise between, the counter that they gave
mhm,
it or the helm splitter. Things like that made it stand out even more than it already did
mhm,
and gave it a bit more forms of utility that really made it stand out amongst a lot of other weapons, which is
mhm.
why I feel like it's because longsword was already super popular as it was before,
Oh
and
yeah.
that kind of just made it skyrocket in popularity. I'm pretty sure, isn't it the most
It's
used
yeah,
weapon?
it's still number one. Like last I remember, like hunting horn jumped to 13th most popular weapon.
Hmm.
And wait,
That's
how many?
fun.
It's a, like I know that you if you go around, there's this little grand wyvern guy that like one of the elders that will tell you like your weapon is this rank. Here's a little like item.
Right.
Um, and whenever you have the longsword, they'd be like, longsword's number one.
I'm looking here.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah, so right now, apparently, by doing just a quick search, I don't know if this
mm-hmm,
is like the actual statistic, but it's saying as of right now, the longsword is the most popular weapon being used by 21% of users in Monster Hunter World,
mm,
which a fifth of all people using a weapon in a game where there's about 14 different weapons,
mm-hmm,
yeah, a lot of people use longsword.
you know, um, then I ended up jumping to like hammer, and I used hammer a little bit, but I hadn't really like I was just kind of twirling around and really like use hammer. And then when I figured it out, it was it was real caveman time, just a little oonga boonga, just
Hmm. I mean,
just
that's just hammer in general.
yeah no.
Hammers.
I just kind of turned. Yeah, I got to do a little brain vacation, turn off my brain, and learn to count to three. Uh,
A little bit of Ocean Man, Take Me by the Hand,
yeah, yeah. Take me to the land that you
Spin,
understand.
Spin Me
Um,
to the Land.
yeah, no. I guess my favorite monster, along with Hammer, is the Otogaron. Uh, I,
Hmm.
like he's fun to fight. Because he does kind of it's kind of like a circular pattern that you have to fight them in. So it feels a little Dark Soulsy in a way
Hmm.
to me.
A little more dynamic in some ways.
So like you're basically fighting him in a circle, which as a benefit, if you're using a hammer, you just start spinning.
Yeah, that works. It
Yeah.
does definitely become a little different, especially like in his like main turf area,
Mm-hmm.
or like for example in the Rotten Vale, like especially when he starts jumping on walls and stuff.
Yeah. No. I remember I was hunting. I think one of my favorite kills I've ever gotten. Like
Hmm.
in world, there's always the I grapple clawed this and like I shot a berry at this and it died. It had 1 HP left. My favorite is I was hunting a great Gyros and I basically used a Odogaron to like wall smash the other monster,
Hmm.
and I killed the great Gyros with the monster slam.
With the big bash.
Yeah, with like I just sent Clifford the big red dog into him, and he just died.
Look, he didn't want to fight you anymore. He's like it was like the meme of the guy like doing the peace sign and then vanishing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just
Oh, I could definitely see that happening.
I actually have like a folder that's just full of like my favorite Monster Hunter screen caps,
Hmm.
and it's basically it's graciously called my teeth brushing folder, because it's just a lot of like clips of just like smacking the mouth of the
monsters.
monster. And there's actually one I was hunting an ebony oregon in a arena, and I do like a killing longsword slash to the mouth, so it does look like I'm brushing his teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right. I would have to say one of my favorite kills of all time was just back when the days of Konchu Man were like in their prime. I was playing with
mm-hmm.
one of my friends in the Konchu Man Discord server, and his name is Dusty. Um, and he and I were just screwing around and playing with switch axes.
Mm-hmm.
And before we go fight the actual monsters, like you want to just go ahead and kill the Great Macau real quick that's in the area. You haven't played Generations or Generations Ultimate, right?
No, I've played World and I've gone into the demo for Rise, which I am excited for that to come out soon.
Do you know what the Great Macau is?
Not quite.
Great Macau is basically the Jagras, the Jaggy,
Oh, okay.
like that kind. It's like this feathered dinosaur that jumps around like Tigger style on his tail.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, what happened is we set down a trap, and we just waited for him to go and jump into it, and then we both at the same time started doing the giant swinging side to side of the switch axe with Mega Dash Juice,
Oh.
and we just did it for, like until it died in perfect sync.
Mm.
And I actually have a clip of it from my Twitter. If you wanna, I'll just post that in our DMs just so you can take a look at it.
Oh,
It's one of
yeah.
those that I actually ended up saving because I just love it so much. But it is easily one of my favorites. Just for we didn't really talk about doing it at all. We just both decided to use switch axe. We decided to go after the Great Macau, and then we both started doing our attack at the exact same time.
Mm.
And it's really a piece of art, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get that. Play that up on the video once I get to editing that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Just go to town, like synchronized, really.
Right?
It sort of reminds me. There's this time I was hunting a big pickle. Forget his name for a second.
Double Joe.
Devil Joe, the spicy Devil Joe.
Oh yeah, the savage one.
Yeah. We basically, he's just thrashing around and like we ended up putting down a like shock trap into a pitfall into a shock trap. So as he's running away, he just kept falling into the next one. It didn't matter. It didn't matter that it was a second long.
Right, it was just another moment that he got stuck again for you to like hit him.
It was kind of funny. You know,
It reminds me of those videos of like the old videos from like, do you know Team Darkside?
Oh yeah, I've seen a couple. Yeah, no.
They used to have videos of them like, for example, he's in Rise, Lagambi, the giant snow rabbit.
Oh yeah.
He slides around and there's a situation where he'll go just like straight from the middle of the tundra in Monster Hunter, I think it was 3 Ultimate, into the next area, and they actually set up a line of bombs, like mega barrel bombs, like 8 barrel bombs, to where as Lagambi was leaving, they detonated them, so where each one detonated on him, like as he was sliding away, and like they killed him on the last barrel bomb. And it just reminds me of something like that, just like carefully plotting where he's gonna leave, to where it's just like trap, and it just like that situation where it's just like boom, 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 and then did you end up like capturing it or killing it within those traps, or did it just end up getting away?
It would break out of the trap too quickly, and we just went to town on it, ended up carving. But yeah, I think the funny thing is like I have my favorite monster from World, but I also have the monster that I just unconditionally must like. It's like if I see him, it's on sight. Like it doesn't matter if like I'm running out of time on a hunt. Like
don't do it to the boy.
If
I know who you're gonna say.
Yeah, I know. If I see the Kuluku, it is on sight. He's too much of a gremlin to be left alive.
Yo, I see you with that egg. I see you with that pot. What you doing?
Yeah,
That's
no,
my
like
rock.
no, like I see, you see the cutscene of him just like stealing the pot and like he drops it and breaks it, and I'm just like, you ain't getting away. There's not enough room for one gremlin in this town, and I'm it.
Yo, that vase was Ming.
Um, but yeah, like I see a Kuluku in the hunt, and I just can't like not just just bash it around.
Just your vision goes red.
Yeah, like I was legitimately on like a fucking it might have been like a Rathian or a Diablos hunt in Wildspire, and I
Hmm.
and I saw it in the background, and I was hunting with some buddies, and then like I just split off to beat the Kuluku up. They're just like, "What are you doing?"
Mm.
You know?
No, that's honestly something super fun to do. It's that's something I do quite a lot. Is I'll just like in rides or something, I'll just join in on people's quests, like their SOSs and stuff,
Mm.
and then I'll just go ahead and hunt the other monsters while they're dealing with the main problem. It's like, can I kill this before they kill the main monster? Let's go.
Oh yeah, I was playing with playing with Jay, doing that, and I forget what we were hunting, but then I joined his hunt and started hunting Arathalos, and they're just like, "Are you
Mhm.
kidding me? You've made the hunt more difficult, and if you die, we'll lose." You're hunting the other monster. No, it was just funny. It's just like, what do you want? I'm just hunting.
I'm just hunting. That's isn't that the game?
Yeah, that's the
I'm
game.
just playing the game.
Yeah. You did get on that briefly. I was gonna ask you. Go ask back at the your favorite smallest monster being Konchu.
Yes, the smallest, my pride and joy, my baby boy, the Conchu. I love them unconditionally.
Mm-hmm. I get that
They
a lot of people like most people I've talked to just hate Konchu.
because I mean they just don't understand what the Conchu represents and what Conchu stands for,
Mm-hmm.
and and really it's really just the indomitable will and the true selflessness. That's what the Conchu is. The Conchu is true selflessness. And it's really something that most people don't understand. And they're willing to put their problems and their mistakes, and they're willing to blame that on the Conchu and put that hate towards the Conchu, which ultimately is why I myself ended up making that persona of mine, the Conchu Man, and really hammering that home because I needed to at least convince some people in this world that the Conchu truly they truly do nothing wrong. I mean they really don't.
Mm-hmm.
And for anyone ever, listening to this podcast who don't know what the Conchu are, they are essentially little well not little, they're actually quite big, um, in respect to your actual hunter size. Um
Like like a volleyball, right? Or like a
they're
beach
like they're
ball.
like the size of like a large dog.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like,
But
like
imagine a roly poly the size of a dog, and they're able to roll into a ball, and they'll either like wiggle around or run into you and make you trip. I myself, while yes they have hit me and made me trip, it's only been in good situations. I've never had a Conchu mess me up in a hunt out of malice. And a lot of other people say that they've seen that. I think it's just misunderstood myself. Like, there's nothing better than fully sharpening your weapon, and as it's completed, a Conchu runs into you and skips the rest of the sharpening animation. That's mint.
mm-mm, just helping you get the polish on your hammer.
Exactly.
You know, always I never minded it. It was like I thought it was silly that you have to sharpen your hammer. But like from a game mechanic sense, it's just like okay, like I get it, you know.
Mhm.
Um, I think something that a lot of people getting into World, me too initially didn't really like know that you didn't just have this unlimited whetstone to begin with.
Yep.
Yeah, like in prior games you had
Yeah,
to
you can hold
actually
a
bring
max of
them.
Yep, and you had a maximum of 20, which is more than enough to get through a quest.
Hmm.
So I can see why they made it infinite. So you never really ran into the. I have had the problem before item sets became a thing, back
Hmm.
in like 4 Ultimate and like 3 Try, even back when I played like Monster Hunter 1 and 2. Um, in those games, there were definitely times where I forgot to bring whetstones, and either A, I was still in low rank, so I just kind of struggled through it. I'm just like, you know what? I don't care if this hunt takes an extra 2, 3 minutes because I can't sharpen. I'll just go ahead and do it. And there's other times where I'm like, just like forgetting to eat in the old games. It's like, well, might as well
Oh
abandon the
yeah.
quest.
Oh no, like if I forgot to eat, sometimes I'll just like eat a like a max potion because um like with the Steamworks when that came out, you just like got like surplus and surplus of just like stuff. Um it was very
Mhm.
quality of life. Um
Right.
because like you're just gonna like you get the daily Steamworks and you get to melt down the fuel from the grinding lands. Um, and you're not really gonna use the fuel for anything else, and you're gonna like you get it normally. So you know, once you
Right.
got to that point,
For me, the only real thing I ever really used the Steamworks for is every once in a while, like I would grind it and farm it just until I
mm-hmm.
got a the I forget what it's called in World, but it was always like the Cosmic Wyverian tickets. I
Oh
forget what
yeah,
they're
yeah,
called in
yeah,
World.
yeah.
Basically they get you like the mantle or the G rank ultra rare drop, and I would
Well,
just farm that until I got one, and then just not use the Steamworks for another month.
well, the I mean the thing with all that for me personally was I don't know if they made the rare drops like easier to get because I had the friend that got me into Monster Hunter complain about how like in prior games they had think that they had played for like 4,000 hours in one of the previous titles and not gotten a Rathian ruby uh like once ever. So they couldn't
I
make
mean,
a specific. It might have been like a Rathalos ruby or something like that.
to be fair, that can be taken kind of out of or hyperbolized as well in terms of yeah, they may have never gotten a Rathian ruby, but did they ever actually go out of the way to farm Rathian and get that? Like, if you're just casually hunting Rathian, you may never even stumble across a Rathian, ruby.
Hmm.
And that's all. I mean,
I mean,
and there is times when I remember I
there.
spent.
I mean, I'll sort of cut this short a little bit because this person would all we got to Elytron, right? You know,
Mhm.
pretty end game stuff. This is before Fatalis. Um, and we are just like, okay, so let's be sure to bring our health booster and vitality mantle, and he's just like, don't have them. So then the whole party's just like, what? You like, no, you have Uno.
Right.
It's because he hadn't done like a single like optional hunt. Like that's what you do in Monster Hunter. You hunt. How have you
Hmm.
not done any of the optional hunts? Is just they. The thing is, they had like evasion mantle and like the bandit mantle, but
Right.
like that was all they had. Um,
Yeah. So it's just someone who kind of played the game to get through it, and then
Yeah,
really
no,
just did
like
none of the optional content.
like that. They went heavy into decoration before, like they would like make outfits and whatnot. Do the fashion hunting before layered armor existed.
Fashion has always been the end game in
But
any Monster Hunter game,
But
though.
yeah, like because of that, they convinced me that I shouldn't use like any of my armor cores, and I didn't use a single armor core until I'd gone through Iceborne,
Yeah,
and
that's a trap.
and I'd gone all the way through Iceborne. I basically fought Sharsvalda. I fought Sharsvalda without using any armor cores,
Mhm.
and then I was just like, I have my final set. Like, surely it can't hurt to use these armor cores now because I completely forgot about them. And like, I literally had piles of it. This is even before Steamwork. I had piles of it, and
Right, yeah.
it's just like I could have been using this earlier. Like, sure, like I get what they are trying to say is that you're just gonna get new armor sets, so you shouldn't bother armor coring it. But like, really, I feel
I
like I got led astray there.
I definitely would disagree with that as well. Even if you get new armor sets, you still want to upgrade the older stuff because even in the late game of Monster Hunter, you're still like, if it has good skills or good decoration slots, you're gonna want to use like earlier armor pieces. Just
Mm-hmm.
like trying to think of an example. Because like for example with Rise, I know one of the big things. Trying to remember, I think it's part of the Azuchi, the
Mm-hmm.
Great Azuchi armor set. I think it's like the legs or the helmet. I can't remember which one, but it has like two slots in Critical Eye as well as a couple gem or decoration slots. And so you're going to be in end game stuff, but you're using a high rank armor piece from the beginning of high rank.
You
That's
know,
just going to be a thing you'll do.
something I found was like I made a different, armor piece for every like zone basically. Up until I hit high rank, like to deal with the effluvia, I basically did some optional Hornitar investigations to get, the effluvia immunity.
Right.
And I got that specifically for that thing, but then I basically once I settled into like high rank, I started like making a set that was kind of a fit all, and unless there's something extremely specific, like I needed a lot of like fire immunity for a specific monster or something, or unless I like really needed a boost for something, I was just kind of sticking to the same set per se. And I'm sure it didn't help that recently I was trying to get through a arc tempered Velcana with a fire resistance set. But the thing is, like, I basically I went about making like this perfect set with skills for my like wide range, friendship build basically.
Right.
And then I go through like hunting the brute Tigrex, all that stuff. Tigrex was just kind of a scary fight in general.
Dude, I love Brute Tigrex, and they did a pretty decent job with him in World as well, I feel.
I mean, I like fighting normal Tigrex more because like with brute Tigrex, you just throw on the Rocksteady and then you just smack him, and it just doesn't feel like if you use the Rocksteady, it just feels like a nerfed fight. But like because like he just sits there and roars at you the whole time, and like yeah, the roars do damage, but if you're wearing the Rocksteady mantle, it basically just nerfs the whole fight. Um,
I've always been a fan of Brute Tigrex in general because I always thought the idea of a monster who uses roars as their main form of attack was just badass.
mm-hmm. Um,
As
yeah,
well as I remember, the Brute Tigrex set was actually pretty dang
yeah,
good in
no.
World, wasn't it?
it was one of the like highly suggested things, and I needed the Brute Tigrex set to make my optimal thing because of certain like perks, and it had a pretty good defense stat, yada yada.
Yeah, because I remember, like, didn't the helmet even have like 3 points in attack and then a speed eating or something like that? That was
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
no, I needed the speed eating chest plate, right?
Hmm.
Because I needed speed eating for the healing. And like I got pretty good at the whole wide range healing to the point that I would be able to drink a mega potion right before somebody would take damage, and I would basically health buffer them.
Right.
Like I got good at doing that, but basically, I needed free meal secret. That was the main thing. And that with
I'm assuming once like, I mean,
uh,
yeah, you could do free meal secrets.
mm-hmm.
Um, I'm
But
assuming once Fatalis came out, if you farmed that armor,
uh,
unfortunately, you could have just
I,
built whatever you needed to. But
yeah, no, like I actually haven't gone through Fatalis. It is just kind of it's really a difficult fight, but like I'm sure if I went back and I like, you know, I probably made a set specifically to fight Fatalis, or like I just like if I did it for a while, I could get through it. It's just I haven't really touched the game since Fatalis came out, really. So I really haven't done it that much. Um,
yeah, yeah,
but
that's the thing. I myself stopped playing when not Char's fault. Safi Jiva. When
mm-hmm.
Safi Jiva first came around, I grinded that a lot, but then I came to the realization that up in like once Safi Jiva came out, like all anyone was using was Safi Jiva equipment.
Yeah, no, that's kind of. I thought the weapons were really cool. But I found that I was only using the Safi Jiva stuff, and like I kind of stepped off of that. And like, yes, for my longsword build, I do use Safi Jiva because I need a specific set bonus. But like it was basically everyone's only using it for the super critical or just straight attack up, or like
Hmm.
they put like all five of their skills, it would be attack up basically.
Right, or something
um
similar to that. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was like that as well. I mean, a majority of Monster Hunter World, I played heavy bowgun, and my late game build was literally just Safi Jiva spread shot heavy
mhm.
bowgun with a Safi Jiva armor set, and
um
it did damage.
I mean, I tended to use I was never able to make a good bowgun set, but I would use the Sharzvalda set. I mean, it was decent. It did like it actually helped me through the Elytron fight with a element with a blight resistance.
Mm.
Because like the alternative was I was popping null berries every second to basically keep the effect off my team, and then I was just like, wait a minute, it's just way easier if I just have blight immunity.
Right.
Um, but yeah, like I was putting together this perfect set, and I ended up just seeing that this they brought the Coltarth fight to Master Rank,
Right.
and I ended up doing that a couple times. And I looked at the set bonuses, and I was just like, "Fuck, this is exactly the set I was building, and it has
Right.
guts." So I
Mm.
was mad that I spent all that time farming out the perfect set when
I
it
wouldn't
was
say
it didn't exist yet. You know,
right. No, I would say yeah. Definitely don't be mad about that per se.
like
Like you could definitely let out like, oh, that's just my set. But
you
I would
know,
be. I mean, still at least enjoy the time because that's the thing is
no,
that
I
Monster
didn't
Hunter's
I didn't dislike the time that I spent playing it. It was just like, oh, like it was just it was right there the whole time. Like it's just kind of bittersweet in a way. Um, that the set that I'd been building was there all along, and it
Hmm.
was eerie how close the set was. It was just like it was for the most part it was all of the skills that I was looking for, and they threw in guts as a additional thing. So it's just like I can't not use this. And then nowadays I threw in I forget what I had as the helmet, but I because you need to have 4 pieces equipped. The choice there is to basically have like on my longsword build, I have a specific helmet paired with I think it's the gold Rathian to get divine blessing secret
Hmm.
because the sword gives another dot.
Right.
So the with those two, I'm able to get divine blessing secret through that. I found that divine blessing is good for some fights, but any fight that has tick, it unfortunately just doesn't like because say you get saved by guts even uh if you take 1 damage you're dead, and if it's a dot tick you just end up dying even if you get gutsed. So that's why the divine blessing just it won't even proc for damage over time, I don't think.
Right. And I mean, before, well, the thing is that that's just something that's a product of World itself and how they built a lot of the monsters in World.
Mm-hmm.
Because before World, none of the monsters really had moves that would deal like small increments amounts of damage to you extremely fast. Aside from like, let's say Teos, like being around the Teostra's head when it's mad,
Mm-hmm.
um, being in a hot area without a cool drink, things like that. You know, aside from that, there was never really, to my immediate knowledge, things that dealt severe like tick damage to you, like damage over time, like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
So
like
that's still just like a product of World and how they built their monsters. Because I noticed a lot of the monsters near the end of World
mm-hmm.
really relied on killing people either through just drastic one shots or like that huge amount of just tick damage.
I guess that is something I notice as well because Velkana's ice beam isn't like one massive damage. It's like it is a tick, but it is a harsh tick. So like
Hmm.
you'll be taking uh like by the time that you are in the ice beam, you might take damage 4 times, but it just looks like a giant hit on your health bar.
Right.
Unless you're wearing like the ice mantle.
Hmm.
But like yeah, like I think divine blessing ended up falling off later in game, and I just didn't use it as much. But I still used it for the majority of I used it since the beginning builds because just like the chance that it could just like
Save you.
save you, that was a good. I didn't really view it as a bad RNG scenario, but um,
I'm a big advocate of using off meta skills and weapons
mm,
and things like that. I mean, Konchu Man itself was a product of me wanting to build an armor set that was fashionable and still at least had skills to be used in the late game. And one of those skills is actually divine protection.
mm-hmm.
And like if it's something that you like using or just have fun using, I always advocate to go and use that over just making not quote unquote another meta build, but like
I mean, you did design the best bowgun set ever, right? Yeah.
which one?
The the what was it? It had sharpness 5. Yeah. It had
Oh
like
right, yep.
critical draw.
It had every single skill that a light bow gun couldn't use. Though I am slightly upset because I did give that set crit draw,
Mm.
which people in on Reddit, did their actually and pointed out that I could use the crit draw to give extra damage on draw attacks. And I was like, fuck, you're right. If you want to include that anywhere, I'll go ahead and
Yeah.
just find that picture from my Reddit account and
Yeah.
post it.
Yeah. Um.
Because, I mean, that build was literally labeled Chad, and, I mean, it was
Yeah.
pretty fashionable.
It was pretty. It was pretty fashionable, and you have to use the bow gun with it. It is mandatory.
It's mandatory to use bowgun.
Uh.
Where is my profile? Oh, yeah, that's actually the last. Dang, okay. Aside from something asking for a gun in Borderlands 3 on the Reddit, on the trade Reddit, that armor set's actually the last thing I posted on Reddit
Oh yeah.
over a year ago.
Reformed. um.
Damn.
I don't know. Yeah.
Mhm.
Chad. The Chad set.
Yeah, it was. I had fun with it. It was a set of which I did attempt to do it for a little bit of just hunting monsters, starting from Great Jagras and low rank, and I just used it with only normal level one shots to see how far I could get.
Mm-hmm.
I got to like I want to say I got to Ziziyaku and then I just got bored.
Oh yeah. Um. With the Monster Hunter Rise coming to PC soon.
Mhm.
Um, I'll be excited to get into that. I know it probably, when when it dropped on the Switch. I mean, you were part of the group that played it on dropping you know, people played nothing but it for a week straight, and then cried that there was no content left. It's just like, well, you speed ran Monster Hunter. What do you
Mhm.
expect,
Right.
Um, so like,
I I I lived that game for a full month and then put it down after almost 400 hours and said, I need to step away from this
mm-hmm.
and interact with the world again.
Yeah, no, we didn't see you for quite literally a while.
Yeah, it was that. Rise was so much fun, dude. I'm so excited to get back into it again when it comes out on PC.
Yeah, no, do it all again on PC. Um,
Hmm.
you know, talking to some buds in some other games, and they've kind of voiced why stuff isn't crossplay. Like I've been playing some Vermintide 2 lately, with some people who played it on console and have had to double dip to play with their friends. Um,
I don't mind at all. I mean, it allows me. I mean, yeah, you can have multiple profiles on Switch,
mm-hmm.
but I mean, this is not just the same game.
Yeah.
While yes, it's the same game, it's gonna have upped graphics. I'm probably still gonna use my Pro controller from Switch on it, as well as I mean, later down the line, there's probably gonna be mods, which will be fun.
One of the things that I really hope, I might have just not been able to figure out the configurations in the demo.
Oh dear. One
Uh,
second, my mic is.
yeah, yeah.
My mic is. Hopefully, I'm not creating too much noise on your end.
Oh no, I'll probably just cut that bit out.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. Um, yeah, no, with the demo, I couldn't figure out the configuration for the you know how in the top left you would basically along your bar you would see all of the combos you could do.
Hmm.
That was something that I couldn't figure out how to get up on the demo. And if that's something that's not in the main game, I'll be a little upsetty spaghetti, but like it won't be the end of the world.
No, it's to my knowledge, it's in the main game. I don't know why they would have taken that out. Yeah.
It's probably just a configuration thing that I have to figure out. But like, um, you know, I'm sure it wouldn't be impossible to memorize all of the different things, but it's just like it's just kind of a convenience thing to be told all of the
You're
moves
different.
available.
Mhm. Right.
You
That's
know.
the thing. I completely understand that. Um, that does make perfect sense. I do definitely come from the day and age of Monster Hunter was a game where you had to learn everything yourself,
Uh huh.
especially seeing as though I grew up in a time of where no one at my school played Monster Hunter, and I also didn't have internet. So I was really like the only person
Mhm.
that so going through I was going through the games as a kid completely blind, and that's just when learning a new weapon or learning something like that, you kind of just had like the hunter notes, and that's about it.
Yeah. No. I know. Like, even looking through the
And the I will say the Monster Hunter Try instruction manual was pretty
there.
dope.
Oh,
Oh
was it?
no, it was actually quite thick, if I
Oh,
recall.
okay. Yeah. No. Like the worlds. Like I remember going through the the training zone, and like they wouldn't even list all of the combos that you have because there's just kind of they'd give you all the basic like standing combos, if that makes sense,
Hmm.
but there's a bunch of complicated like situational moves that basically come with direction that are a bit harder to explain on paper, so they really only tell you like 5 moves per weapon from what I've seen. I could be wrong on this, but like from what I saw on World, it didn't really give you that good of a instruction on what you can do with the weapons, and it was more that you would basically like you had the tool of seeing all the combos up on the screen in real time to know
But
what you could do next.
as in, you knew what you could do, but you never really knew how to apply it per se.
You know, it just gave you a couple button combinations. It didn't give you all of the specific directional ones though.
Right. Especially with I never really played Sword and Shield too much in World. I heard near the end of World's lifespan, it got where Sword and Shield's actually pretty dang strong.
Yeah,
But
it is there's various Sword and Shield's always been pretty good for the utility sake of being able to use your items while still having your weapon out. Um, which, doing a wide range build, like I really should have doubled down in being good at the sword and shield if I was doing wide range, because I would have to at least put 1 dot of quick sheath
mhm.
to do like I would do wide range with hammer and longsword. Um,
Which, especially with Hammer, isn't bad at all because
yeah, no,
Hammer's sheathing animation is super fast already.
yeah, no. If it was something like the switchblade, switch axe, that takes a while to put away, or
Hmm.
there are weapons that take longer, but like it was doable. But um, sword and shield would logistically would have been the most ideal one because I wouldn't even have to put the weapon away. I could just use the things.
Yeah, because that would
Um,
even be like in a situation in the middle of a combo, literally
mm-hmm,
just roll cancel out of the combo and immediately chug a potion if you see someone like about to get hit.
mm-hmm. Um, but yeah, I kind of doubled down with the like I got better at knowing when to put stuff away.
Right.
I I was able to get good at it to the extent that I was able to get over the fact that I had to anticipate how long it would take to put the weapon away and then do the healing.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think what kind of buffed the sword and shield was the grapple claw update um, with Iceborne, uh, because you could, along with all of these things, you got the like how helpful the burst shot is for stuff like the great sword.
Right.
Um,
And this was just, the amazing world of, having to tenderize every
mm-hmm.
piece of a monster before you attack it because you're not going to get damage any other way.
That's something.
I
It
was,
it
I,
kind of it kind like there is kind of a back and forth. Like, you can't really make an improvement to a game without dis- distracting from previous mechanics, because yes, it was. I think it was meant to be implemented in a way that, like, you can optimize damage if you spend time to carve it up, but then late game monsters, you basically wouldn't do any damage to them unless you carve them. Um,
Yeah, it was. I'm. That's the thing. I will happily state that Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Iceborne, fantastic games, great games. It's just looking back on it, there were some issues that I personally had and stuff that I didn't enjoy, to
mhm.
where I would prefer playing, Generations Ultimate, Monster Hunter Rise, because there's just some systems that they had vision and had a lot of like really good ideas on. They just weren't implemented in the best way,
Mhm.
to where it became more upkeep rather than a mechanic.
Yeah,
If
no.
that makes sense.
Because, with before Iceborne, I imagine the carving was meant to be like you spend this turn to basically get the uh you know, get the carve up, you know, the you get the shot drop, and then you get the you know,
Mhm. I know exactly.
yeah.
Tenderizing was, depending on the weapon. I think they changed it to where both weapon types were able to do both things in terms of dropping slinger ammo and tenderizing. Forget exactly how that update went. I know that was sometime around when I stopped playing.
Yeah,
Um,
no. Yeah,
but it became
that
a
was
situation of like against most monsters, aside from like mid game and below,
mhm.
like if you wanted to hit those like normally weak spots, then yeah, you'd be able to do decent damage to it. But
You wouldn't do
if you weren't
optimal damage.
tenderizing, you were doing significantly less damage.
And with the super late game monsters, even like if we just pick at the Safajiva fight, you literally couldn't do any damage to it until it had been carved up. They made it ultra resistant until you'd carved it.
Right.
Uh,
Which I understand that's more of, I feel like that's actually where it's well implemented
mhm.
because it's a necessity to the fight. And that's why I really like the Safi Jiva fight. And that's really what I enjoyed before I stopped playing was that fight really just felt like almost like the Monster Hunter version of a raid, I want to say, like just a really big boss fight. Like I feel like they did really good with implementing it in that scenario,
Mhm.
but when it comes to just a smaller scale, just going out and hunting a monster on the regular, I feel like tenderizing doesn't implement itself as well when compared to something as big as Safi Jiva.
Yeah. Um.
I feel like when it's much more grand and much more of those longer fights where you need to have the tenderizing in order to damage it at certain points, I feel like that's well implemented. When it comes to just going out there, it's like, oh, I want to go out and just hunt a Legiana real quick.
Mhm.
I don't want to have to spend the time when if I need to go and hunt five of them for some reason. I don't want to have to start every hunt, giving it a waterboarding session of just tenderizing its head 10 times.
Uh. Yeah. No. There's a little bit of that. And I mean, even sometimes when like you can't find a good spot in the fight, it's just like, well, I guess while my buddies are smacking it, I'm going to tenderize the entire body. Um, get it nice and soft. Uh, and then rejoin the fight properly. The I will say, Rise from the demo has a very different combat flow. It was kind of almost a little jarring to get into that system because you know the way that I feel about World is it sort of feels almost Dark Soulsy if you didn't have the auto lock, You know,
Don't you dare say that Monster Hunter World is the Dark Souls of Monster Hunter games.
I'm not saying that. It
Don't
just
you dare say.
it's not the Dark Souls of no. It's just like you lose. It's like you lose the hunt and you're back in like uh you're just back in your underclothes. And
Right.
it's just like, well, now I have to go out and hunt all those conchus again. Those poor conchus.
You can't make me.
Oh man, you know that event armor that you spent so many, those furious Rajang that you had to fight.
Mm-hmm. Right. Let's
No,
do it
the
again.
thing is, me and my buddies like we did the normal double Rajang hunt, and by the end of it, we were just like, ah, God, we like that was so bad. We don't know how we did it. Like the only way we could do that fight was by just shutting. Like me personally, I just picked like dual blade, shut my brain off, and like because I barely knew the weapon, I barely knew where I was going, so I didn't. There's no way they could predict where I was going because I
Yeah,
didn't know.
Rajang didn't know where. How does it know where you're going if you don't know where you're going?
Yeah, no, just the demon mode actually function. Like I feel it functions a little differently. Not completely, but it feels slightly different in Rise. The hammer having the different stances. Now, I guess something I'll have to get into is within the full game. I can obviously get kind of more options per se,
Right. Mm-hmm.
so I can find stuff that I really like. And the different hammering stances felt a lot more, like it felt like different way of using the hammer rather than with World. It was just something that I would proc to get a higher swing.
Yeah, yeah. In World, it was definitely just you focus your hammer, you get more damage, and that was the thing. I believe it also slightly changed your charge attacks as well, but you
Yeah,
always had the
no.
focus up. So literally
The
in
gist of
Worlds,
in the
if you didn't have the
world,
focus,
yeah, in World, it was basically, from my interpretation, it was I had to charge a little bit, and then my swings would become slightly slower with a wider angle. Especially the upswing. That's the like I couldn't fucking hit the chin of the monster until I started doing that. When the monsters started getting bigger. So it was essential to do the charge when it came to bigger monsters. But with Rise, it was more like uh, like a different style.
I don't think I don't know, and anyone can correct me on this, but I don't think actually focusing your hammer and rise increases the damage. I think it because the way I've used it in Rise is you focus your hammer to get the other form of the charging state to where you get your in different charges. Um, I've seen generally it kind of seems like it does a little more damage but less exhaustion, while the normal version of hammer does a little less damage and a little more exhaustion. As well as one big benefit is being able to do like a level 3 charge in the focused version. Then roll canceling, when you charge up again, you can unfocus and immediately recharge your hammer, and then go into a silk bind attack with a fully charged weapon. And that's a combo I did all the time and I absolutely love. And just being able to constantly switch between the two forms depending on what you need, and whether or not you need to dodge an attack or just get your hammer charged really fast is absolutely fun. And Hammer and Rise is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. It
Sorry, that
was
was a little bit of a tangent, but
yeah, no, yeah, no. It the still haven't gone through the Magmala on the like we you were there. We tried Magmala in the demo, and I'm sure if we just we got close, really, didn't we?
I mean, I tried. You died, but Just kidding.
I no, like I don't
No, he's not here. We could blame it on Solar.
blame it on Solar. Uh, was it just me, Solar, with that?
Yeah, it was just Yumi and Solar. And you guys, I mean, I'm used to the Magnamalo fight, so I mean, obviously, I can.
Yeah, no. Like,
I fully expected you guys to die quite a few times because that demo fight, your first time going
uh-huh.
through it is rough. It's rough.
It is the flagship monster, and you're using demo weapon sets, which
Mhm.
are unoptimized. uh,
Not only that, but I was fighting it with you guys. And I was using the light bowgun in the demo, which is notorious. Like, it's known for being absolutely horrid, and it is. I ran out of ammo by the time like you guys ended up triple carding and dying. Like I was out of
I mean
ammo and
it.
just shooting it with normal ones and just crying as I'm not doing damage to it because I'm just
You
shooting it with
know,
normal ones.
I think it was more Solaire carding because what I ended up doing
Yeah, like I said, he's
was
not here. You could blame it on him.
no, like I like full honesty, I was just running around collecting bugs, and then by the time that I had full stamina, full health, full attack, we had one cart left.
Hmm.
You know,
Sorry, you cut out there for a minute.
um,
All I heard was we had one cart left.
yeah, we had one cart left. Basically, by the time that I had collected enough bugs to get like full stamina, full attack, full defense, full health, full energy, we had one cart left.
Hmm.
So,
And that's one thing that you'll find out in Rise is you actually really don't need to do that at all. Um, Yeah, you'll find that you really don't need to grab all the stuff. You can if you want, if you just like want to chill, especially in the beginning, if you want to learn the map and where to go and the most optimal routes.
mm-hmm.
That's great. Go through, collect the nectar bugs and stuff. It's a super fun time, and I recommend it. Um, but once you really start learning where everything is, you'll find your own trails that you make, where basically you can get to the monster in an optimal amount of time, and also grab stuff along the way.
Yeah. The the wire bug really kind of opens up the map in an interesting way.
It really does. I Comparing the wire bug to the clutch claw, you can definitely see like they were able to take like they wanted to add extra movement and extra ways to interact with the monster. And their first iteration of that was the clutch claw. And then I feel like they kind of went to the like the drawing board with that a bit, and they ended up coming up with the wire bug system,
Mm-hmm.
and it was much more fleshed out and realized than I feel like the clutch claw was. And it's the wire bug system is I absolutely adore.
I feel the difference is the clutch claw sort of existed in certain applications, but
Like which application,
they
like
like
PowerPoint or Outlook.
uh, you could use the clutch claw to smack at the scatter nuts, or like you could use the clutch claw to you know grab the grapple bugs, and like you could basically utilize it like that. But they didn't really design the clutch claw from the ground up for the game. Well, I feel the game was designed around the use of the wire bug.
Hmm.
So the key difference being, one was like an upgrade that they tried to implement, and as we've talked about, there were some pros and cons to that. Um, there could be some bias because it was the first Monster Hunter game on my side, but I felt that all in all, it was a fun thing to use.
Hmm.
Um, but it's definitely much different from the wire bug, and I think that's gonna take a little bit getting used to.
Hmm.
Um,
Overall, I will say it does take a little getting used to, but it is, for me personally, it is more than a welcome change. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like when Monster Hunter 7 comes out, whatever they end up naming it. Um, I don't think they'll end up going with the wire bug again because obviously I feel like they're trying to keep unique mechanics to their own games. In some situations, um, I feel like Rise really that whole thing was the wire bug. So when they go to Monster Hunter 7, whenever or whatever that may be, um,
Yeah, I feel
they're probably
Capcom, especially Capcom Monster Hunter, is really strong as a series, and I'm surprised. I'm surprised, like we saw like we really didn't see much more of a Monster Hunter reference in Smash Bros. Rather than like just one boss you got to fight a Rathalos.
I'm a
Uh,
little I'm disheartened by that too, but I won't complain too much because at least we got Rathalos.
mhm.
The one thing I'm sad about is that we never actually got Ancestral Step as
Yeah,
an actual map because we had the arena to fight Rathalos in, but we never got that arena as an actual map to fight in, which makes me sad. I
yeah,
would have loved to
no,
have like imagine like you're in the ancestral step that that area where you're fighting Rathalos. Just in the background, there's maybe like a Kechawacha, run around. There's like Conchus rolling around. That'd be adorable.
you know,
You see some great Jaggy running across the field, and then like 5 seconds later, you see a Devil Joe just booking it towards them. That would have been a great map.
if you wanted to make like some stage hazard, you can have the, what the Devil Joe chucks backwards at the map deal like stage damage, yada yada.
Just in the background, Devil Joe grabs a great Jaggy and chucks it at one of the fighters.
Devil Joe grabs you. uh, that could there could have been direction with that, but I feel that Monster Hunter is a popular series. It's going strong. I feel that Rise won't be the end of it.
Oh, not at all. Not even close. Um, and in regards to Smash, I mean, in that situation, I'm very much not sad with what I didn't get, but I'm happy with what I got.
Yeah, no, I like. There's plenty of room for people to be upset about uh, stuff. And as far as collabs go, I mean, not throwing any particular shade at the Monster Hunter movie. But the Monster Hunter movie event in World was kind of lackluster. Uh,
I never did it, so I know you could play as Mrs. Resident Evil herself.
yeah, no, you basically could play as that character, and you could basically use you know you could use the knife and other like the monster hunting knife with a with like one half of a dual blade set. And I know some people were like with the production of the movie, like it's clear that the Monster Hunter team wasn't there to oversee it.
Mhm.
Because
Well, no,
you know,
actually, one thing about it is that I thought was really funny was I saw some behind the scenes interviews on it, and apparently, like the director actually talked with Sujimoto and stuff,
mm-hmm,
because there was an interview with Sujimoto, I believe it was, where he was talking how he was speaking with the director, and he showed him some like clips from the Diablos in the movie, and apparently Sujimoto actually pointed out facts on the Diablos model. It's like Diablos shouldn't have fangs like that because it eats cactus, it doesn't eat meat. Or it's like its claws shouldn't be like that, or its roar should sound more like this instead of this. He actually had things like that
mm-hmm.
for the director on
But
the
like,
movie, and it's just like wow. So they did have some
mm-hmm.
guidance during the movie in terms of I feel like maybe more on the spectacle of the monsters and how they should have looked. But in terms of the actual direction of the movie, I don't think maybe
you know,
Sujimoto had much work in that.
I think they as you said, they just show it to him, but I don't think that they had him on set like overseeing the production is more like I imagine he's a busy guy.
Mr.
But
Monster Hunter himself, which,
Mr.
if you did
Monster
not
Hunter.
know, Sujimoto himself is a hammerman.
Oh yeah.
Hmm. So
With the
he's a hammer boy just like us.
one of the fan gripes was like the weapon that they used was like one half of a fire dual blade and the Monster Hunter knife. Like the big like carving knife that you have. Um,
Hmm.
and basically the fans were just like, "Why are you fighting a Rathalos with a fire set?" You know,
Right.
um, you know, because like they looked at the blade and it's just like that is a like I forget the exact monster blade, but it was probably just a Rathalos
Let me.
blade or something.
That was shown in the trailers, right?
Yeah, no, it was in the trailer. Um,
I'm gonna do a quick YouTube search. I want to actually see if I can
mhm.
identify what that is.
But yeah, like you ended up doing like I ended up just grabbing the longsword because the you basically had to fight a oversized Rathalos
Hmm.
to imagine fighting a master rank Rathalos with low rank weapon.
Was that what it was like?
That's how long the fight lasted, and basically it was to the first stagger, and then the fight ended. So you didn't actually get to hunt.
You didn't actually fight it. You just.
You basically you know when you hit it a bunch into the first stage and then it flees across the map. That
Hmm.
was the whole fight, but as far as its health bar went, it was like fighting a master rank with a low rank weapon. Um,
Those are literally just the bone dual blades.
yeah.
Why are they fire?
Oh, they added fire to the bone.
Which, I mean, actually, let me think about. Didn't the bones have fire awakening when you in older games? Let's see, bone dual blades. Sorry, you can keep on
Yeah,
talking.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
on a tangent now.
Yeah. Basically, the monster would flee, and then basically the whole time
Oh no, it was
the
ice.
the actor is talking to the commissioner and they're just like they're speaking the Monster Hunter language and she's just like I don't understand you. Like you're just like wow, what it like in a different context is just like somebody speaking Japanese at you and you don't speak it, you don't shout at them I don't understand you.
Right.
you know um but basically you did the hunt. You flew away on, you know, one of the raptors to basically, well, not raptors, but like, those little pterodons
Mm.
that you can float around on. You go back into the fucking time vortex tornado that pulled them into the Monster Hunter world in the movie or something.
Right.
And then, the of course like they hand them like the Monster Hunter notebook that they'd been writing all their translations in, and then like they said something along the lines of like forget, like the one word she picked up was forget.
Was forget?
Uh
Why?
huh. So when like the commissioner came by and was just like, hey, where's that weird chick, he can be like, oh, I forgot. Like it's just a really dumb line.
Ugh,
Uh, it's just
this
like,
gives me great pain.
hey, where's this Outlander that we picked up for Gore?
I forgot.
I can't vouch for the actual movie, but the event, that was how the event went. And then in the event, what you got as a reward was chocolate. And You
Why?
you know how you have to wear the whole set to get the crossover set to get the bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I was just like, I'm assuming like with Geralt or Ryu and things like that, where full outfit.
it's the whole outfit. But they picked the most dog water combination of skills possible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like it felt like a low rank set, you know.
Yeah, let's
Um,
see.
it was just
Jokic armor set.
it.
Ilya Jokic armor
It's
set.
just a really odd set of skills. Like even if you could take it apart piece by piece, like you,
Oh god, it doesn't even look good.
yeah, no, it just, yeah, it doesn't really.
Does it? Oh, it doesn't even tell me what skills it has.
It
Let's
had
see.
like it had like one dot of like health up maybe, and some
Mhm.
other thing. Like it just none of the skills were remarkable, and it was nothing that I was gonna change my set to put. Um, but it just didn't. Again, it didn't look good.
Alright, Potter's Blade armor. Okay, it had to have like decorations or something because apparently it's just saying that. Well, that's what. It's two set bonuses. Skills of hasten and recover and great luck. Okay. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got nothing.
it just didn't look like a remarkable armor set. It didn't, it didn't look good. The skills weren't there.
I'm trying to find the skills. I'm seeing like, oh, if you wear two pieces, you get this. If you wear
Mm.
the other pieces, you get that. But I'm not seeing what the actual skills in the armor set are. I give up. That's just too much work. Yeah.
Um.
Needless to say, I have not watched the Monster
Mhm.
Hunter movie. I don't think I will.
I mean, okay, just looking at the real armor side by side, it just kind of it doesn't even look like the movie armor.
Oh wow.
Like, yeah, I guess you got to fight a Diablos for a little bit, and then you.
Which I watched the trailer and she shot it with a bazooka.
Yeah.
As well as apparently some way through the movie there's a Nursilla, which is dope, but apparently it's only there for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie. And yeah, no, it was single player only. The thing is, I wanted to be able to carve an oversized Rathalos, like is allegedly in the movie. Uh,
Right.
like you know,
Go craft big Rathalos armor.
it's just like it just doesn't fit you in the
You
slightest.
look like Kingpin from the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, not
Right.
yeah, the what
I got.
The Spider Verse one where he just looks like like the new Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a big kid. Spider Man. It's about the Mets.
It's about the Mets, baby.
It's about the
About the
Mets.
Mets. So
Yeah. I mean, I might. I probably won't watch the movie. It you know. I was just really disappointed that like the thing is the monster you see the meme videos where like somebody mods the monsters out to like change the size slider to be something ridiculous. Like it looks like one of those like it looks like a Rathalos that's like 2.5 sizes too large. And so that's what made it really hard to fight with the dual blades, because you could really only scrape his ankles. So that I had to switch to longsword to even deal with it. And like I was just disappointed that I couldn't like finish the fight. Like it just ran away basically.
Right. I mean, so what you're saying is it's essentially like the what's his name? Volcana fight. The first time you fight Volcana in the story mode of Iceborne.
Oh yeah, I remember. I did that with the well done, juicy well done, like meat hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I legitimately used that hammer like over the meta stuff.
And I wonder if there was an oversight, because I remember I was able to beat that fight by hitting Volcana with a flash bomb.
It was just supposed to, like, you were able to carve it too.
No, basically I did the flash bomb, and then for some reason that defeated Volcana, and then like triggered the cutscene for the fight to end.
Oh, because is it sort of like when a monster is flying away, and if you can flash bomb at the right moment, you can get it to fall and skip the whole flee animation?
Kinda. I actually have the video on it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, here it is. Which, let me turn that down because it's loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, just at like 14 seconds. Or if you want to go to like 12 seconds in.
Okay.
Actually, it just watch the beginning of the video, really.
Yeah.
And like I hit the flash bug, and for some reason that's enough to trigger the cutscene. It's like that situation where just making it flinch is what you needed to do.
When you turn on the light too fast.
Right. Basically. But yeah, it feels like that situation where like all you really need to do is make it flinch in order to trigger the cutscene and make it run away. So it makes me wonder, like, what if you had a flash bomb during that, Monster Hunter movie event fight?
Oh yeah. What is that, like the Glavinus set or something?
Oh, that's the set I used during it was the Brachydios armor.
Oh, Brachydios, okay. But yeah, we're decent ways in. So I guess as a conclusion, it's a good series. I'm looking forward to Rise, and it should be fun to smack some more monsters with the content extension right off the bat. That'll be good.
Oh yeah, that's right, guys. We're getting like all the DLC from like November from release. So we won't have Sunbreak right away, but
well, yeah, but by the time that it's gonna be pretty close.
Oh man, I'm gonna stop playing Monster Hunter Rise on PC so I can play Sunbreak on Switch. Then Sunbreak's gonna come back out on PC. I'm gonna have to play through Sunbreak again on PC.
This is all your fault, Twisty. No.
Because as much as I would want to hold out on not playing Sunbreak, I'm gonna need to play Sunbreak on release. So unless they come out at the same time, which I doubt they will.
I thought that they're gonna sync. I'd have to double check.
I thought you were the refrigerator expert here. Okay.
Wait, what does refrigerators have to do with this?
With sinks, right?
No, that sinks. That's plumbing.
Refrigerators have plumbing, right?
Not necessarily. It's.
How do you get the ice in there?
This is gonna be a different video. I'm not. This is Monster Hunter.
This is Monster.
Let that sink in. Let that sink in.
This isn't Fridge Lore. This is Monster Hunter. Or is it the other one? This isn't Monster Hunter. This is Fridge Lore.
That's it. That's your Monster Hunter video. It's just refrigeration rambling.
See, what you do is you get a cup of ice and you put it in the fridge.
No.
The ice
Well,
melts.
okay. We'll get back to this later episode.
Cut.
Cut. So I guess do you have your finishing remarks? Any social plug?
Overall, not necessarily. I mean, if anyone ever wants to find my YouTube where I post, or I haven't posted anything in a while, but it's mostly just Monster Hunter glitches and any weird stuff that I find while playing games or good clips. Usually posted there. You can find me at just YouTube, just Konchu Man. Just look up Konchu Man and I should be there.
Mm-hmm.
If you want pictures of a funny purple lizard, some of it's NSFW, then go to my Twitter, which is Man Conchu. Do not look up Conchu Man on Twitter because that's
very
my
illegal.
this not illegal, but it's my old account that I had with my old school when I was like 16.
Uh-huh.
So don't go there because it got hacked and I no longer have access to that account. So just leave Conchu Man alone on Twitter. Go to Man Conchu.
Man.
Okay, there's a difference there.
It's difference.
There's a difference. But yeah, aside from that, there's not much else. If you message me on Discord, I will kill you. So don't. That means you too, Twisty.
I mean, but like we can still hang out, right?
Sure.
I just can't message you.
Just don't message me. Don't talk to me. We can talk. Just don't talk to me.
Okay. Understand.
There is no consequence. You will be banned.
Will be banned. There is no consequence. You will kill me.
There is no consequence.
Okay. Well, this has been great. Good episode, and glad to have you on.
Mm-hmm. And if there's ever more Monster Hunter talk, or you want to make another one of these after you've played some amount of Rise, then we could definitely do another one.
The Rise review.
The Rise review. I'm down.
Yeah. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and smack that dislike button so only I can see it.
Yeah, he'll be able to see it. I can see it too because he'll show it to me.
I'll show it to him. So yeah, if you absolutely destroy that dislike button.
Absolutely destroy that dislike button. Is it the old YouTube bug where if you clicked on it and then clicked it off and then clicked it on again, it would count as 2? Just keep on doing that and you'll have 1 million dislikes.
And then it'll be like a reverse viral thing where they're just like, well, this is the most hated video on YouTube, so let's show it to everybody.
Exactly. Yeah, it's because I brought up Conchus and I like Conchus. That's why it's most hated.
I'm just imagining some furious
seething Monster Hunter fans
that's just making alternative accounts to dislike my video in the comment section, just being like, oh, have you know that Conchus killed my dad?
Oh, if there's ever any comments on it, I will say there's probably going to be someone who calls me a goddamn Conchu sympathizer, and I'm not, because Conchus don't need sympathy. Bitch.
Yeah.
Calling you out now.
Historically how you are with the comment sections.
Mm.
You will not survive.
You will not. I will destroy you.
Yeah, this has been a good one.
Yeah, I don't even think we ever said my name. My name is Jellicle Dry.
Yeah, we said it at the beginning, didn't we?
I think we did. Maybe, I don't remember.
Yeah, I asked you if I could call you Jellicle Dry, and you said you can call me Just.
Oh, that's right. I'm Just.
Yeah. Just Jelly.
I've contemplated changing all my stuff online back or to Jellicle Dry, because that's the thing. I have some Conchu Man comments on YouTube, That got like really popular and made me happy. And I don't want to change my name to Jellicle Dry because now I'll be Jellicle Dry on YouTube instead of Konchu Man, and those comments won't have the same weight.
Because
But
it's
honestly, just screw it. I'm probably going to change it back.
because
So if anyone ever finds my YouTube, either look up Konchu Man or look up Jellicle Dry. You'll be able to find it.
find it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been
But that's it from me.
yeah. All right. Catch you all in the next one, whoever you all is.